To say that Mickey Mouse is a household name would be an understatement. The little tune has played a part in the childhood of so many of us that even as sarcastic, vulgar young adults, he brings out a little bit of the kid in all of us whenever we see him. So when the opportunity came again to step into the shoes of Mickey Mouse, I was skeptical, but my nostalgia all but ensured I would pick up Disney's holiday title, Epic Mickey. From what I saw of the trailers, the game seemed to combine platforming elements with a gimmick reminiscent of Super Mario Sunshine's Flood. What I didn't expect, however, was that Disney would once again raise the bar for cinematics and presentation that make the game one of the most enjoyable interactive experiences of the year. Welcome to Disney's Epic Mickey. Mickey's story begins in an age before he garnered his worldwide fame, to a time when he was less known as a lovable icon and more as a mischievous critter. True to these origins, Mickey stumbles across the workshop of Yen Sid, who has just finished his kingdom for forgotten cartoon characters to flourish. A cartoon retirement home? What'll they think of next? Mickey takes the magic brush and accidentally uses the paint to create a shadow blot creature. After realizing that more paint only makes it stronger, Mickey uses the thinner to weaken the shadow blot and escapes before Yen Sid can find the mess he's made. What he doesn't realize, however, is that the mess of paint and thinner causes the kingdom of forgotten characters to become a shell of its former self, a wasteland ravaged by thinner. Years pass and Mickey grows into the icon we all know him as, but as time passes, the shadow blot becomes stronger and reaches between worlds to kidnap its creator. Thus, Mickey is given the task of cleaning up the mess he's made, using the magical brush, paint, and thinner of Yen Sid as his tools to reshape the wasteland. This introduces the game's primary story mechanic. Many times you'll be given a choice between paint and thinner, whether it be to defeat an enemy, a boss, or repairing an obstacle. Generally, paint is the good path, as it befriends the various shadow blot enemies and purifies the corrupted bosses you'll face, making Mickey a hero of the wasteland. Thinner tends to cause mischief and destruction, so heavy use of it will lead to the bad path, where Mickey isn't liked by the residents of the wasteland. While thinner is arguably the easier path as it can outright destroy enemies, using paint to restore and perform tasks for the residents will usually yield more in terms of collectibles and game completion. Your ammo for paint or thinner will increase based on what method you use to tackle the bosses, so there's always an element of choice in crafting your own unique gaming experience. The game itself is platforming at its finest. The main gameplay is presented in 3D, but between levels are sections presented in 2D atop a vintage cartoon that'll give the player some insight into the early Disney days. The 2D sections are very easy, your biggest obstacle usually being a film strip collectible in each one. The main game, however, is a fantastic blend of challenge and fun with a plethora of familiar locations to any Disney buff. I won't spoil too much, but early on is a level reminiscent of Disney's ride It's a Small World After All, while a boss battle somewhat resembles the environments of Tron. Another area, Mickey Junk Mountain, even features platforming atop old Disney Nintendo cartridges. Forget Easter eggs, this game is a whole basket full of them. If you're at all familiar with Disney, you're likely to have at least a dozen smiles throughout the game from the environments and world alone. And for them to dig this far deep into their variety of environments shows how committed Disney was to making this game. The controls are simplistic enough for anyone to pick up and play, but the most major battle you'll have probably won't be with the shadow blots, but with the camera. The player has a constant control of camera with the D-pad and Wii remote, but the game has a habit of adjusting angles and forcing you to keep a finger on the camera controls quite often. There are even a few spots that the game will automatically go into a fixed camera mode at some of the most inconvenient views. It's frustrating at times, but rarely does it ever detract from the overall enjoyment of the game. The characters are where Disney really dusted off the vault, though. Throughout the entire game, you're greeted by forgotten characters who Mickey appeared with in early Disney cartoons. King of them is Mickey's brother and predecessor, Oswald the Lucky Rabbit, who's resentful of the fact that he was tossed aside and Mickey became the symbol of Disney. It's an old grudge, but depending upon your actions, Mickey can gain the trust and support of Oswald as he helps to rebuild the Rabbit's kingdom. Epic Mickey is a charming experience with enough nostalgia and challenge to appeal to any gamer willing to look past the fact that it stars Mickey Mouse. The battles with the camera are the only glaring weak point of the game, but so much else is done exceedingly well. It certainly is in contention with Super Mario Galaxy 2 to be considered Platformer of the Year, and is a great tribute to Disney as well as an old style of gaming that's not seen much anymore in the sea of FPS, RPG, and online gaming scene today. Gamers Asylum gives Disney's Epic Mickey a very epic score of 9 out of 10.